Hey, what's up guys, Forz here. We're going to be talking about the controversy of the role situation in Destiny 2 and not being able to get different roles on weapons. And I see a lot of people in the community freaking out about this, like this is what made Destiny Destiny, and I heard something else like it's taking the grind out of Destiny. Like this is actually being taken out of proportion. Like let's go ahead and we got to start from the beginning. And first we got to start off with all these little claims and saying that the Destiny is not going to be how it is, or this is taking Destiny's core mechanic. Let's just put an end to this. There's of course going to be other weapons that you're going to want to grind for, so the grinding and getting loot is still not going to change. That is what Destiny's foundation is based on. It's just not going to have different roles on a weapon. It's just changing the way you get the loot system. You're still going to be grinding for weapons and armor and things of that nature to make yourself a better character. Obviously just one little tweak of, okay, you can't get different perks on this weapon. That doesn't really change a lot. I know a lot of Destiny players, especially after year 2, decided that like that was the main thing for them, is just to get the perfect role for a weapon. Me personally, and especially year 1, we didn't really care about the roles. I mean, to an extent, yes, that mattered, but we didn't really try to get like certain amount of roles or certain roles on certain weapons. That didn't become a thing or a huge deal until like year 2.5 and then into year 3, because of Fell Winter's Live. We had the Party Crasher +1. Those things I feel is what made the role like era of it matters what what roles your gun gets. That's when it started to really matter, because Crucible was becoming really cancerous at the time, and we were trying to look for an answer to solve the Thorn, because at the time the Thorn was literally the meta. The Thorn itself was the meta, and the Fell Winter's Lie at one point, and then after that it was a Party Crasher and the Matador, and that's what really brought about the roles war, in just my opinion. But we gotta get to the root of the argument here. So the pros and cons to having the role, like stationed roles on a weapon. The pros is that it's gonna bring about a more balanced PvE or PvP. It's gonna have people playing at an even playing field. There's not gonna be like that god weapon, and you can have just as well access to that weapon as another person. But at the same time, like, it's gonna make it to where everyone's going to be using the same things, but that's not really a con, because everyone uses the same things anyways now. Everyone finds that meta weapon and then they all cater towards it. Now by Bungie doing this, I believe that their response to it is that they're going to add a lot more weapons, and they're going to have a lot more hopefully have a lot more weapons in the PvP part of the game that can balance out the meta, so there won't just be a handful of guns that rule the Crucible. It'll probably be like a little bit more wider variety to pick from, so you don't have to just only rely on like a hand cannon or a shotgun. You can actually rely on other things and do pretty well with that. So like there's really nothing to really stress over, guys, because if we look back, what Bungie is basing this game off games like Borderlands. And in Borderlands, there's fixed roles on weapons too. I don't know if you guys know that. Now it's a little different. Their loot system works a little different. There's different things to take into account when you're talking about Borderlands. But if you get an exotic or a legendary in Borderlands, the roles don't really change. The stats may, but the core thing what that weapon does won't change. So if you get a conference call, the conference call will always shoot omnidirectional or horizontally around the screen, however you want to call what the conference call does. It's always going to do that thing. Now there may be times where you want something with a little bit more reload speed, maybe a little bit more ammo in the magazine, then you can farm for like a different type of conference call, and not only that, you have a chance of getting different type of elements for your conference call. And so with Destiny 2 going this route, I believe that there's going to be more variety in the exotics as well. There might be different variants, like a solar exotic. Let's just say, for instance, there's a solar mytho class, right? And then they have an arc mytho class that you can get. You know, they both have the same perk of what the exotic, but they do different elements. Maybe there's different stats as well. That's a possibility that Destiny 2 can be going into. We can't confirm right now because the game's not out, but when the beta comes, I'm pretty sure that there'll be some signs of it. If not, when the full game drops, there'll most likely be different weapons with the same perks, just different stats, if that makes any sense. Now this is just a hypothesis. I have no proof to even prove this, but that's just a logical way that they would probably go, or they'll just incorporate a lot more weapons into the game, and that could be a daunting task too, because they have to worry about tuning and fine balancing all these different weapons, because they also have to worry about the PvE. But in other words, guys, like, there's really nothing to really be stressing over. I mean, I guess it takes away the aspect of getting a perfect roll for a specific weapon, but there really isn't going to be such a huge game changer unless they do incorporate the other things that I mentioned. I think it would be kind of cool. I actually am for this direction, to a more Borderlands type direction. I don't know if it's going to improve different weapon stats or any of that, but it would be interesting to find out. But yeah, that's all I basically have to really say about that, guys. People are losing their minds over this. It's kind of ridiculous. It's very silly too, and people are saying that this is taking Destiny's core mechanic out of the game. Like, there won't be any need for farming or anything. It's kind of ridiculous, because this game is designed from the ground up for you to play like a lottery or like gambling. Like, you just keep playing it just to get weapons and armor that you want, but you're not always gonna get those things. You're gonna get other different weapons or armor, and this is the second game in the franchise, guys. So there's gonna be a lot more weapons and armor, probably twice as much from the base game of Destiny 1, because there's no way that they're not going to make this game grind heavy. I mean, this is what a lot of people enjoyed of the game, is that you grind heavily and you try to farm as much as you can. And I can see why people are getting salty about it, because now they won't be able to, they have this preconceived notion in their heads that now they can't be grinding for a certain weapon all day. I don't even think that's even fun. I like to just get a weapon and be like, okay, cool, this is a great weapon for this level, it's time to get an armor piece or whatever. I don't want to keep grinding for one weapon to get a perfect roll. It's a little repetitive and it takes way too much time. There's no need for you to sink 50 hours into a game just to get one weapon with a certain roll that you wanted. That's stupid and ridiculous, and it's counterproductive to continuously progress in the game. I want to progress, but I also don't want to spend 20 years trying to get a God Roll Matador 64 that has shot package and rangefinder. You know, that's kind of ridiculous. But hey, guys, that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think about this topic. Are you at all worried about the new loot system, like, you know, getting the just dedicated roles, or maybe that was an aspect that you really enjoyed? I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. I think Destiny 2 has the potential to be a great game, and we just have to wait and find out. The beta drops soon, and I'll be seeing you guys there. See you guys later.